Olympia's back! Plop 1 Genesis X2! Look at this sick skin! Look at all these new features! Oh my god! Bro, we are so back. Rivals 2 is back. Rivals 2 is peak! I'll never stop playing Rivals 2 as long as I live! Anyway, welcome back to Recap of Aether, your one-stop shop to get a recap of everything that happened in the last week or so. I'm your host, Both Players, and my god, there was so much happening last week. So let's get right into it. First things first, Genesis X2, the largest Rivals 2 tournament yet, happened last week, and my god, it was so good. I was actually at Genesis selling prints for my girlfriend. I posted about these on the subreddit as well as on this channel, but I'm gonna say it again. It is so good. They are so good. Fun fact, she also made these Street Fighter themed prints as well in honor of my coming into Street Fighter 6 and because Genesis is now a fighting game convention, not just Smash. I even actually made it up on stream. I was on the side stream for Rivals. I mean, my dream is to get good enough that when I am on stream, it's actually commentated so that people say stuff like, let's go both players, or ooh, both players are doing good, or dang, I don't think both players will make it. Something about that gives me a kick, which is my inspiration for getting better. But yeah, I mean, take a look at me. I'm right over here. That's what I look like. Wow, it's me. Is that what you thought I looked like? Probably not, because I don't know what you thought I looked like. Does this mean more face cam in the future? Maybe, if I'm not lazy. We'll see. If you actually want to see the full VOD of where I'm at, there's a link in the description, and you can go to that specific timestamp to see my whole set. But it was fun being on stream. But alright, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the news. So Genesis X2 wrapped, and these are your finalists. We have Plup, Cake Assault, Stango, Marlin, ZB Asashi, and Beastly and Elkies. Now, if you are unaware, for the uninitiated, if you do not know who Plup is a melee player. So him getting first is bonkers. It is more bonkers than Bargo getting second, because this means a Smash player beat the best of the Rivals community in order to make it to the top, which includes Cake Assault, the best Rivals player, Marlin, arguably the second best Rivals player, and even though it's not in top 8, he also beat Soul Rifle, who was a top 3 player in Rivals of Aether 1. As a person who came up on Smash, I'm not gonna lie, this was hype. This was maybe the hypest thing about the tournament. I was standing up on my seat, I was in the artist alley going crazy by myself because nobody else was watching Rivals. I just could not believe my eyes that the person to take down Cake Assault is Plup. I don't know if you know this, Cake Assault has a near perfect record in competitive Rivals 2. So the fact that someone took him down, let alone a Smash player, is crazy to me. Marlin also did very well, maybe a little bit under what he was expected to because he was seeded 1. Now that could be for a couple of reasons, but primarily I don't think that the tournament was particularly good to Marlin. Here's a tweet where he explains most of it. This weekend might have been one of the worst experiences for a tournament so far. Not anything with the tournament itself. Genesis ran fine. I'm not sure what I ate last night, but I have a really awful stomach bug and I've been in and out of the bathroom more than I'd like this morning. Not having any of my things or my bag for the entire weekend made it super miserable for me as well. Was having a lot of really weird issues getting checked into my hotel, which was super annoying to deal with. Not to John or anything like that. Anybody who beat me definitely played better than me, but this weekend has just been super rough. So yeah, Genesis was weird in that a lot of players actually had strange problems at the airlines, like flights getting super delayed. Marlin, for example, his stuff was sent completely somewhere else, I think San Diego. Delta somehow messed up so bad that all of Marlin's bag was in San Diego. So I'm sure all that weighed on him. And that's the thing about competition. It is not necessarily just about pure skill. It is also about your mind state. Are you in a place to win at that time? And unfortunately for Marlin, it was not. But for Plup, it was. Look at this guy. Look at this maple. Thumbs up, baby. I gotta say, if this is what the future of competitive Rivals is headed towards, I love it. Give me more. And not only were the sets hype, but we got a goddamn character announcement, and it was Olympia. Now, fun fact about me, I was an Olympia main in Rivals 1, and I was certain that she was going to be one of the later characters added. But she's part of Wave 1? She's part of the first year? The second character of the first year? Look, say what you will, but Genesis was a win for me specifically. And because I played Olympia in Rivals 1, I thought it would be fun to do an analysis on the trailer and see what's going on with her kit. First of all, I think the triple fake out is so mean. It's so mean because Dan is such a troll, but it is I guess it's a quadruple fake out actually. Because at first it's all these random ass characters. This water duck, this vine raccoon, this fire lizard, and then like a thunderstorm bunny, and then Hodan shows up, or Hodan, I forget. And we're like, wait, is it actually Hodan? Oh my god, that's so crazy. And then he turns around and I'm like, whoa, Absa? Is Absa finally getting in here? I feel so bad for all the Absa mains. I feel so bad. This face right here, that's all Absa mains. And then when Olympia showed up, I was like, yo, I'm going crazy. I can't believe they put my main in the game. Is Olympia hella popular? She must be like stupid popular, because I'm like, whoa, Olympia's in the game. Anyway, let's take a deeper look in this trailer. So I think most of the stuff is like similar. Like that's a jab into dash attack. That's a nair into fair. Just simple stuff. And I think what's gonna be the most interesting is how they change this crystal mechanic. So what you see is that if you press neutral special while the ring is active, any character inside that ring will get encased in crystal, and when you're in this state, you are in hit stun, and if you get hit during the state, you stay in the crystallized state until you are popped out. So example here, when it touches the ground, you pop out, little hit stun, and then Olympia follows up with a fair, an S smash. And as you can see, Olympia's dash is actually pretty slow, but she makes up for it with a different kind of movement options, as you will see later. Up air, so that's a down B, her down special. It's basically like focus attack, where she can tank one hit. It only shows one hit. I'm not sure if it's going to be more, but at the very least, it tanks one hit, and if she attacks the character, they are encased in crystal. And then at the end, you see this up B finisher, the up special. Very small range, but very strong. And that looks like a new side B. It looks like instead of her so she used to have a side B that you can charge to dash across the stage, but instead it looks like a grapple where she charges at a character and then does a jump toss. Okay, first of all, that range is ridiculous. From here, it goes all the way to the second platform. Excuse me? Whoa! That was disgusting. And what I think this is a bear, a really quick bear into a grab. I assume that's neutral pummel. Oh, another bear. Oh my god. Oh, this is a new skin that they teased. It's gonna be an assassin force burn, which is really neat. I'm assuming inspired by Assassin's Creed. So what we're gonna see here is what I assume is the get up special, which it looks like she does a charge, and then it dashes towards the stage. So that used to be what her side special was in Rivals 1, but looks like they put that into the ledge special only. And I'm assuming you can hold that and you can change the distance of how far you dash. But yeah, so it looks like you can hold and dash really far, almost at the entire screen, and follow up if you're able to. This is the new get up special, which this used to be what the down smash used to be in Rivals 1, but it is now get up special. It's really interesting. They like pseudo nerfed by putting that kit into different moves, because that down smash was crazy, the range was ridiculous, and that side B movement is also crazy. That move was an up air. Up air, the bottom part has a spike box, so you can actually spike with a up air, which is hilarious. And okay, so this is the type of movement I'm talking about, where it doesn't really matter her run speed, because you can actually cancel your down special with a movement to dash into a direction. So that's what I believe is happening here. She down specials and then dashes, and she recovers by jumping, side Bing, wall jump, up B. So this is where it gets interesting. So if you didn't know, Olympia was originally a workshop character. And the way this neutral special used to work is that if you were in this circle and press neutral special, you would dash into the diamond, it would dash into the middle, break it, but it was a way to mix up your movement. So that's what I believe is happening here. I think because it's not instant, I think you can choose whether or not to dash or to activate the circle. The way the workshop version worked was that if you're within the circle, you do the dash. If you're outside the circle, you would do the crystal stun. But I think what this is showing us is that you can basically choose which one to do. She's about to activate the stun, but she cancels it into the dash and breaks the diamond in the middle. and which deactivates the field. This is what I assume is her special pummel, which crystallizes the character. And it comes back. I'm not sure if it's a timer thing or if, you know, hitting a crystallized opponent near the diamond would reactivate it. That's not very clear, but at the very least, it's one or the other. And then here you can see that you're able to side B grapple the diamond itself, which is, I think, insane. So you can side B the diamond, and then you break it on something. And I think this is the hitbox. It must be the hitbox of the crystal. And if you're within that crystal, I assume that's when you get crystallized. And then you can follow up because your opponent is crystallized. Interesting to note is that when you do the side B break, it's only half of the crystal left. I think if you do the side B break, you can't repower the sphere. Because it eventually disappears right there because I think it's broken. So yeah, the difference between this activation where it's split but can reform via something, either time or attack activation. And then if you side B break, I think the benefit is that it is a long range crystallization, but your neutral special is now in cooldown. But it doesn't matter in this case because they follow up, and that is a new down special. So what it looks like is a 2-hit down special where Olympia punches her own fists, boom, gets that hit, and then releases the energy outward. A little bit different from Rivals 1, which was basically this move. This move was basically down smash, but it's now relegated to special get up. So this is gonna be interesting because something Olympia did in Rivals 1 is with this crystal, her side B, you can jump cancel out of it. So if you can see that, normally the side B just lets you fall. But if you side B in the circle and jump, you can jump cancel. So a fun thing you can do is side B, jump cancel, wave dash. So you can trick your opponents instead of going all the way over here because it sends you super far. You can also side B and then wave dash, wave land. So this is something that was super fun with Olympia. And you can also vary how far you jump because it carries a lot of momentum. But what it seems like is that this move is now ledge special. So I'm wondering if you can still do this jump cancel stuff with ledge special. I hope you're able to. Otherwise, it's gonna be just a decent move and not a good move. And I wonder if, like Daedalus, is going to get a nerf to the waveland capabilities. Since Daedalus, you can't waveland on dash attack unless you hit an opponent. So I wonder if it's going to be something similar. So if you're curious what Olympia might be like, this is basically her kit in Rivals 1. This is the down beam, the down special move, and you can cancel it in both the ground as well as the air. So even though her run speed pretty slow, as you can see, she more than makes up for it with her dashes and movement options. So I actually have with me Workshop Olympia. So I think Rivals 2 Olympia is actually going to function very similarly, which I think is going to be that. So that dash she does in the middle of the aura, if you can see carefully, I might freeze frame it in post, but she does a very similar knee dash. And the crystal very similarly deactivates for a little bit and reactivates after a certain amount of time. And so I do think this is going to be a pretty sick mix-up where you're like, oh, I'm going to attack from here, I'm all the way here. Oop, bounce. I don't think it's going to work exactly like this because from what I saw in the trailer, she doesn't bounce as nearly as high, even grounded. This version bounces super far, but the other one bounces very little. But we're going to have to wait and see. Otherwise, I'm super excited. I'm super excited. And now we are at the patch notes. It is patch 1.1.3, the post-Genesis update. They had this update cooking up for a while, but they wanted to wait after Genesis so that it didn't mess up big players, which is great. First things first, we have the Tailside Raster trailer. We have a pigeon raster with a skateboard. That's hilarious. Also, look, Slipstream is a caution tape. That's so good. I think the skin is amazing. And a little bit later right here, they're gonna show you the custom taunts. What the? A kickflip? That's so funny. If this is something we have in the future, I would love to buy custom taunts. That's so good. That's incredible. The Rivals team, I said it in the beginning, I'll say it again. We're so back. This is so sick. Next, we have new game modes. So there are some trial training exercises that they wanted to include, which include target test, edge guard training, and eye break. So target test is just the target mode that they had in the arcade mode, but now it's a standalone mode that you can do by itself. So if you wanted to grind something by yourself instead of playing online all the time, you can grind out target practice, which he died, so it goes to show how good I am at that mode. Anyway, if that's something you want to do, it is there. The other thing that's really interesting is this edgeguard training mode. So basically, you get a random character that you want to practice edgeguarding against, and they will forever spawn from whatever side you pick and help you practice the edgeguarding. So they're just gonna do a bunch of random stuff and try to trick you, and you just basically want to edgeguard them like that. So a way to try to edgeguard each specific character. Maybe you want to work on your timings. Like that, I messed up my parry timing. Bro, I suck at this game. Granted, they're not gonna mix up as much as a real human. These are just like specific scenarios. But I think it's super interesting, and I would say very helpful. Edgeguarding is one of the most important aspects of this game. And for you to basically have drills over and over again would be super helpful. It's not perfect by any means, but just having something in general, because like I will say I'm very bad at my up B timing. And finally, we have this eye break mode, which is really interesting. Basically, it's like target practice where you just beat up one eyeball, the abyss eyeball, over and over again, and you just see how many you can get within a minute. I mean, part of it is practicing like your aim, I don't know how else to describe it, as well as your movement. Like they will spawn in random places and you want to get to it as quickly as possible. And don't be like me where I whiffed 2 times. Maybe I do need this practice. A very interesting mode, and I think super fun to like try to get high scores in. I don't know how random it is where eyeballs spawn, because sometimes I get 2 eyeballs in one swing, which is really lucky. But I won't lie, there is something addicting about trying to beat an eyeball over and over and over again. I will say, I do not know what total score means, because I played this more than once and it did not add up the total. It just copies the best score. I have to assume that it's a bug. If you're looking for something more to do other than just ranked and just casuals, these are some new modes to play with. Next, we have some new tiger skin palettes. For all the characters that have tiger skins, they will now have a white tiger variant that you can purchase on the Aether shop. One feature that we've been asking for so long is the 3D skin preview. Let's go! They're listening to us? They're listening to us for real? As you can see in this little GIF here, you can do a 3D preview of what the skin looks like, as well as the palettes that come with it. Very cool, a big quality of life improvement. I will say the one thing I wish they would do is show the different effects. Some characters have different effects, such as Pizza Loxodont, who has meatballs and spaghetti on the floor. If we were able to see those effects as well, I think this would take it to the top. But otherwise, very cool that they added this. They also added offline skin support so that if you are off the internet and want to play locally, you will still have your skins available. This is a great change for anybody who wants the Abyss palettes for their main skins. Now you are able to get it on medium. So if you get the Abyss medal on medium, you will now be able to obtain the palette. New Raster voice lines in SFX. So apparently Raster was one of the earliest recorded characters, so they took the opportunity to go back and fill in the gaps on some lines he was missing. We also recorded custom audio featured in his new Tailside skin. Newly recorded voice lines for the successful parry action for the following characters. Wow, so I guess Edelus, Forrest, Crag, and Raster will have new lines for a successful parry, which I think is super hype. And now we get into the balance changes. I think this is going to be really interesting. They did a lot of changes that I actually think are really cool and really healthy for the game. For one, just some new controller options. You can double tap to dash on controller. All hurtbox locations are now shifted 2/3 of the way towards the gameplay plane instead of only halfway. I guess a lot of hurtboxes were too deep in the Z axis, and so a lot of moves were whiffing when they shouldn't be, but this should fix that problem. During dash, characters will now accelerate to their run speed throughout the dash. This smooths the transition from dash to run. Characters with identical dash and run speeds are unaffected. Moonwalking is also unaffected. Okay, so this is really interesting. instead of immediately going to the run speed after dash, which is I assume what happens, it's going to smooth into it. I wonder how this is going to affect gameplay, but this is huge. Hit pause formula is now dependent on damage instead of knockback. So before, the more knockback you did, the more hit pause there will be. But now the hit pause formula is based on the damage, which would make it more consistent. Because the old formula, stronger moves at later percents would have more hit pause. But now, regardless of percent, they should have the same hit pause depending on the move you hit. This says this generally decreases the hit pause for most moves and makes upward downward sending attacks feel more intuitive on hit. I will have to wait and see how this feels when playing. I haven't had a chance to play past Genesis, but I'm excited for this because I think a more universal hit pause will be interesting, and perhaps less hit pause in general will make comboing easier. There seems to be some bug fixes and quality of life fixes. And now get to the character balances. Grab has a no low hitbox. So I think every character is now getting a new low grab hitbox. And that's because, if you didn't notice, Olympia is tiny. Here is a clip of her standing next to Crag. She is like a third the size of Crag. She is tiny. Because she's so small, I have to assume that old grabs probably whiffed her some of the times because she would like pancake when jumping down. So I think they just gave that hitbox to most people so that grabbing is more consistent. Sweet spot forward air damage increased. This makes slightly better on shield and better against low damage opponents. I think fair was already really strong. I don't know why it needs to be stronger, but sure, yeah, we'll buff Zetterburn, why not? All strong attack consume hitboxes now last 3 frames instead of 1. This should prevent the consume hitboxes from whiffing when hitting the later active frame of the strong attack. This seems to be like a unintended bug that happened because of this, and so now it should remain consistent, and because it's more consistent, it is an inadvertent buff. So Zetterburn getting a slight buff. Rano was slightly nerfed, adding a bit more recovery to some moves like up tilt and forward air, and up special dive kick no longer skips the landing recovery window when parried. I guess when you parried the dive kick it was not as rewarding, so now it is more rewarding. So slight nerfs to Rano. I think as a Rano hater, a step in the right direction. Now Raster got a major buff in my opinion, a very major buff. Slipstream projectile is now hittable again, which may be a nerf, but now Slipstream activates automatically instead of needing to hit an opponent. This is how it worked in Rivals 1. Raster can now Slipstream in any direction. Specifically, you can Slipstream on the opposite direction so that the opponent has no opportunity to parry or hit it. But now Slipstream can now be destroyed when Raster is put into knockback or grabbed. So if you hit Raster hard enough or grab Raster, you can actively get rid of Slipstream. I think this is an overall much healthier place for Raster. This is how they fixed Raster in Rivals of Aether 1. I think this encourages Rasters to be more aggressive because now they have more chances to use Slipstream, and it also encourages opponents to be aggressive as well because the only way to get rid of Slipstream is to attack. Overall, a great change to Raster. I think we'll be seeing a lot more Raster play because honestly, the fact that you can block Slipstream was a huge nerf in my opinion. This is great. Crag is getting a bit more fixes, more than balance changes. Down special was supposed to be forward huggable, but previously it was not. Also, Pillar will no longer put opponents into the Pillar fall state if it breaks while rising. So if somehow you break the Pillar while it's rising, it will not force your opponent into a fall state. Parry stun will also not be halved when holding a rock. I didn't know that was a thing. So yeah, mostly quality of life changes. Fleet also got some changes, not directly nerfs or buffs. Her dash speed is increased to offset the acceleration change, so her dash should remain basically the same. The late hitbox of forward special is now reduced so that if it's farther away, it'll do less damage. Forward strong, the mid hit is now weaker than the late hit, so if you're hitting the middle range, it's a bit weaker. Up strong, fully charged arrow will now fall through platforms. I think this is an interesting buff ultimately because it'll now hit characters below and be more useful in stages with platforms. I think it's intuitively weird. I don't think it makes sense, but I understand why you wanted to do it because then it would be more useful to do the fully charged up strong. But I don't think this change was necessary because fully charged up strong falling back down was in and of itself a pretty silly gimmick. But yeah, maybe this will be super fun to watch. Down strong sweet spot damage has been increased from 10 to 12, basically making it feel better because the move is already strong, it just didn't do a lot of damage, so they made it more in line. Maple got some changes specifically to her wrap and tether, which I think ultimately is a buff. So the way wrap works now is that fully charged attacks will now multiply wrap duration by 1.5 instead of acting 60 frames. This ultimately reduces the reward Maple will get for charging strong attacks, but I think this is made up for the changes that they did to tether. Now there's a lot going here, but basically the TLDR is that DI mix-up of up air and neutral air is back. So the way it worked in Rivals 1 is that you can either hold up to dodge the up air or hold down and away to dodge the neutral air. In this game, you can basically just hold up and dodge everything. There is no follow-up, but they changed it so that this tether mix-up is back. As a person who plays against Maple, I don't like the change just because I liked not having guaranteed follow-ups with that, but I admit that sucks. I think bringing back the mix-up is super good because it at least gives Maple a chance to follow up after tether. All the other changes kind of coincide with that. Now Claren, in my opinion, got some significant nerfs. So the tipper stuck lockout duration went from 20 frames to 30 frames. If you did not know, if you get tippered and get stunned, you cannot get stunned by another tipper again in a short amount of time. Before it was 20 frames, now it is 30. This reduces the amount of stuns in our average tipper combos, but also gives the opponent less time to DI correctly. So it can both help and hinder each player. I think I do like this change because I think stun on tippers is a cool idea, but the frustrating thing did happen when you get stunned over and over and over again. This might make it feel better. Crouch canceling a tipper that doesn't send into tumble will now cancel tipper stun. I think this change is going to be incredible because Claren jab I think was one of the strongest neutral tools in the game because you can't parry jabs, and it is just such a safe option that at least giving us one defensive option against it would be super awesome. Now instead of Claren's straight up beating crouch cancel, we have a move that we can crouch cancel. And the rest of the changes are like adjustments because of the hit pause formula change, as well as this, which reduces the hit stun multiplier to Sour Spot. Now Loxodont, for some reason, got nerfed? What's going on, Dan? Loxodont sucks. Loxodon's bottom 2, are we going crazy here? Firstly, leg and torso hit heart boxes expanded slightly. Now, this probably makes sense because sometimes a move would whiff even though it clearly should hit. So this one I'm not gonna complain much about, I think it makes sense. Jab 1 increased recovery? Oh my god, I know I spammed the move like a mother, but like, come on man, we need it. We need it. I'm mostly joking. I think this would help a lot of players be less frustrated against Lox because we do be spamming our jabs. But as a Lox main who thinks Lox sucks, this hurts my soul. Down throwing an opponent onto an inactive lava pool will now give Loxodon a molten charge before destroying it. So this is a slight buff. The situation that this happens is going to be pretty rare, but if you happen to have a lava pool that is not active and you down throw early into it, you'll get a charge. So very situational, but a welcome change, I suppose. This is also another nerf that, again, it isn't a huge change, but a nerf nonetheless. Lava pools need 60 frames before activating, and you could not extinguish it unless the lava pools were activated, but now you are able to extinguish it regardless. Me specifically, from my experience, a lot of players actually don't actively extinguish lava pools, which I do think is a mistake. If you're playing against Loxodons, make sure to do that. But this is like a quality of life change more than anything that happens to be a slight nerf for the Loxodont. And now this is an interesting change too. Again, not like super frequent, it's gonna be very situational, but again, a slight nerf nonetheless. If Loxodon is in hit stun or knocked down when touching a lava pool, this will now actually extinguish the lava pool. I am not sure if this, again, makes sense in the logic of the game. Why would I be able to extinguish my own lava pool when that is something that an enemy body must do? I think this is just another way to make it less frustrating to play against Loxodont, but I'm not sure if the balance of it making sense in lore aligns with the balance. I'm not too sure. 4's got a light nerf in a couple of spots. Short hop speed was increased so that it takes a bit more time to get to the ground after short hopping. Down tilt, sweet spot, damage reduced, and down tilt, damage reduced as well. And Edelus got a couple buffs. They still did not decide to add a wave dash out of dash attack from whiff or hitting shields, but he got some other buffs to make up for it. I think they still want to have more time spent before giving that back. Some changes to attacks to make it more reliable. Ice shards now deal no shield damage. I think before there was just too many situations where all 8 ice shards would hit the shield at once, dealing a lot more shield damage than they intended. Neutral special now has less ground fiction so that you don't fly as far when trying to get ice armor. Get up special has increased knockback. and the ledge attack intelligibility frames have been increased from 11 to 21 frames, which is a significantly more amount of frames. Yeah, these buffs are more from quality of life changes rather than buffing the kit itself. So maybe we'll see where this goes. What I would like for Daedalus to have, if they're going to get rid of the movement option, is to actually make him a shield pressure monster. He already has a mechanic where if he neutral specials your shield, there is a freeze mechanic that prevents you from healing shield. I think if Daedalus had more tools to damage shield more consistently, he would be a monster, which maybe they don't want, but I think a character whose gimmick is around shield breaking would be super interesting. Alrighty, so now let's get into the tweets of Rivals of Aether in the past week. A lot of posting about Genesis, a lot of posting about the new character, both salty, both happy. First thing I wanted to show is this right here. So this is a response to someone complaining about Olympia coming in because it means it quote unquote took a slot for a returning character. If you did not know, Dan had said previously that they would approximately have 2 returning characters and 2 new characters per year. So some people just mad that they could not get Absa, and likely Absa won't be available till next year. But Dan is actually clarifying that the 2 old 2 new thing is not super rigid. What he was saying is that we want to balance adding new characters and old characters so that people don't expect all returning characters at first. Closer to 50-50 overall, but not necessarily 50-50 each year. Which is to say, this doesn't necessarily mean that we will get another returning character. Dan is just clarifying that it's not strictly 2 and 2. Just that the desire for the team is to have a balance. So you're telling me that there's a chance for Absa? No shot. Unless... Hey, if you give Dan Fernacey $10,000, I'm sure he'll bring Absa in. So Equinox Doodles, let's buy out Absa from him. Next we have Poka Sokas, who drew the frame of Absa going like, huh? This is great. Off-brand says, you can really feel the heartbreak and goat confusion in this. I channeled the emotions straight from my own soul directly into this piece. I miss my goats. Yeah, very unfortunate. I'm really sorry, Absa Mains, that you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. You'll be like what I thought was gonna happen. RIP. And speaking of the frame, this is the frame itself from the storyboard artist of Rivals of Aether, Andy Ayala. This is great. Hold on. This is so funny. Andy also posted the side-by-side between the final and the storyboard. I think if you're just interested in how storyboard works and the process, this is super fun to watch. I know I liked watching it. I just like seeing the creative process of what goes on. Thank you to Andy for posting this at all. He's another user repeating, I'm not bad, I'm not bitter about Absa not getting in. Speaking of Absa lovers, no. This was a post that they made in January of 13th saying, rewriting the nightmare scenario to be Olympia, then Slade, then Jodan. Jodan's long lost brother. Yeah, they were just hoping for Absa so bad, and they did not get Absa. They got the martial arts rat instead, which I'm happy about. Wolf Scratch here saying, Absa will never be in Rivals! LMFAO! My main Olympia's back! Let's go! I feel the same, Wolf Scratch. I feel the same. Or Wolfie Scratch? I am not too sure. Regardless, let's go Olympia Maze! We stay winning! Let's go! Here from Equinox Doodles, even though they are a bit upset about Absa getting baited, decided to showcase some fan-made skin concepts for Olympia. Steam Punch Olympia, which very clearly not taking influence from my favorite show of 2024. Legally distinct Rat Vi. Clearly not Vi because, well, she's a rat. And finally, no further ado. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Off-Brand Games. If this is what publishing video games is all about, then maybe you should hire me. Next is the YouTube video portion. Here are the Rivals of Aether videos that I've watched or took a look at in the past week. For one, if you want to see some high-level gameplay in both doubles and singles, Aether Studios have uploaded their own top 8 highlights for doubles, as well as the top 6 highlights for singles. So if you want a really quick, 22 minutes of what happened in top 6, this is probably the best way to catch up. However, if you wanted to get into the nitty-gritty and take a look at the VOD specifically, Genesis has all the VODs of top 6 uploaded in this playlist right here. I'll have this as well as all the videos I'm talking about linked in the description below. Speaking more on Genesis and the experience of the players themselves, It's Cyan was the highest placing solo Edalist at Genesis X2. They got 33rd, I believe, yes, 33rd, at a super major, which is very, very good. So this video is basically a breakdown as well as a pseudo vlog of what happened at Genesis X2 from Cyan's perspective. If you wanted to get a first-hand look of what it feels to play at Genesis as a player, this is a great video to watch. If you wanted a recap of what happened at Rivals of Aether with more analysis instead of just watching the VODs, Proof did a Genesis X2 Rivals of Aether 2 recap, so make sure to check it out if you wanted to keep up with the competitive scene. Proof also did his own analysis of the patch notes. If you are anything like me, I am a patch note watching fiend. Every time patch notes happen in Smash, I watch literally 10 people analyze the patch notes. Proofblock uploaded much earlier than I did, so you probably already saw it, but if you haven't, this is the chance to look at it. Speaking of, Last Stock did his own patch review, and they also believe that it's huge! That's what I'm saying. I think this patch is one of the more significant patches that they've done. Lastly, some wholesome vibes for Rivals. In honor of Valentine's Day, Last Stock did a What I Love About Rivals 2 video. If you're tired of all the negativity, all the negative Nancys going like, I hate Clarin, boo boo boo, I hate this game, so frustrating, why is ranked like this, do servers suck? If you hate that, then watch Last Stock's What I Love About Rivals 2 to remind yourself, oh yeah, I like this game. And finally, the segment that all of you were waiting for. I know I missed it last week, so hopefully this week we'll have some juicy stuff. The Rivals of Aether Reddit recap, baby! Now let's take a look. I think the Reddit was a bit more active in the last week or so than before. A lot more upvotes of things that I've seen. So let's see what the community has to offer. Firstly, the Arcane Target Test World Record. 4 seconds? Dude, some of these people are so fast. I gotta see what this is like. Ooh, okay, getting 3 and 1. Super speedy. Oh, bubble into, oh, smooth. The reverse forwarder hit both things. That's really smooth. That droplet before the up tilt blew my mind, bro. Yeah, right here, the droplet up tilt, and I think the droplet gets the target right here. That's super sick. Wow, this is impressive. Real. Real is so good. Real. FY to everyone, there's a leaderboard for target test and arcade mode here. Oh, speedrun dot. All right, this makes a lot of sense. You can change the levels. Arcane, Zetterburn. I see. Maybe I get on this. Maybe I get on the target test grind. My main. Let's go Olympia mains. So Absa, which religion do you follow? I'm an atheist. Did someone say amethyst? Cinema, the atheist fist. What's a god to a non-believer, am I right? Why'd they tease her like that again? I know, I'm really sorry for Yapsa mains. There was an Apsa cookie in Christmas, and now Apsa straight up was in this trailer. They're stringing you guys along. I'm really sorry about that. I made Minecraft Steve. Did someone say my crag cheese? Absolute cinema. Oh man. Apsa seems to be taking it quite well. All of this is just Apsa being pissed. But yeah, I mean, the Art of Silent also did a bunch of other doodles as well. We might as well get into it right now. Here's a Clarin brain rot, a bunch of compilations of Clarin doodles. No fun allowed. No fun allowed Clarin. Clarin being scared of Pickle. Tom and Jerry Clarin. This is so good. All of these are so good. Uwu Clarin. Oh wait, this is this the PogChamp? Is this You're My Little PogChamp? Oh my god, I take it back. I hate that one. Casual Clarin eating either marshmallows or pieces of grilled chicken. I can't tell. Why do we have naked Clarin? I don't like that. These are so good. Raiden, I actually forget how to pronounce. These are super fun. Man, I wish I could draw. And do all this stuff. This is cool. And before that, they had some other random sketches as well. I'm not getting in this year, am I? I'm sorry, Ileana. You probably aren't. What is this? Charlie? Is it Arcane? Arcane Charlie? I'm not sure. Cupid. Ooh, with a crossbow. Cupid Fleet and a Cupid Clarin. Very cute. I don't know why, Derpy Maple, this is definitely a reference. I have to assume to a cartoon, but I don't know. These are super fun. Again, I wish I could draw. I don't know who this is. I got lazy. I don't know which one this is, but a fun character regardless. This 2016 sci-fi drama features Amy Adams as she attempts to decipher an alien language. What is a rival? Some things I'm never gonna get sick of. What is a rival? And any reference to emotes and any reference to taunts. I never get tired of this. Pretty sure there's a subreddit for angry upvotes. This belongs there. True. This might be the best post on this sub. Tell your friends. Can someone explain this to me? You don't know what is a rival? Come on, you guys. This is real silly hours. When they spam themselves to death. Okay. Who be spamming? I assume the Zetter. Zetters be... Ooh! Deserved taunt? That's so funny. Let this be a lesson. If someone be spamming, you gotta learn to parry. That's just how it is. Spam, parry, and to death. Some say he's still spamming Cape to this day. A lot of spam posting, huh? A lot of salty spam posting. Well, maybe not salty, just hilarious. You know, Forestburn F smash, F strong 1, pretty strong move. Forestburn Cape lovers when downwards directional input. It'll hit at some point, trust. That's the thing though. It will hit. It will hit once. They won't get punished for it. You gotta punish them so that they learn. Ability to chain cosmetics to skins so we don't have to redo it every single time you want to change skins. Yeah, this is a really interesting thing that they have done, is that at the very least for character specific deaths, I think it's still like you pick a character death and it goes forever instead of sticking with the character. I think it would be a good quality of life change to be able to save specific platforms and death animations to skins and palettes. A sweet idea. I would like to piggyback this and suggest a setting to allow bots to use random skins we own. That would be really fun. Been wanting this for a while. Also wouldn't mind having default loadouts for each character. It reminds me of Runeterra. Yeah, I don't know why the default loadouts don't happen to each character. I think that would just make things make more sense, but I'm sure that's just like a timing thing. They just didn't have time to run it. Yeah, and if you have a suggestion like this, you can use the note board. Oh, and actually, they have a new note board for the new patch, but I think I'm gonna wait for it to gather some more suggestions and gather more upvotes before I share that with you guys. So look out for that next week. This new Edalus taunt sure is something. What did I just see? Wait, what even could that be? I know it's like like the model is being stretched to a different pose, but what is that? Man, they can't squish this glitch to save their lives, looks like. Oh, is that a thing? Is this a glitch that's been a thing? That's so odd. What? Wait, which? I cannot tell which taunt that is, actually. I feel like they should make a disclaimer before you buy that you need to live in certain parts of the world in order to play online. Okay, I think this is a salt post disguised as a thoughtful post. I live in Ottawa, Canada, and I'd say on average I get 50-50 chances that the game plays well, or I'm beyond lagging and unable to play the game. I just came off of playing probably 8 games in a row, or I was a laggy mess in all of them, and some of them just outright quit before the match starts. I really like the game and I enjoy watching people play, but as for now, I've basically wasted money because I essentially can't play online with any online features. Also, for the record, I don't have any network issues for any other online games that I have played, including other fighting games. Does anyone know if something's going to change or why this is the case? I think I just have to drop the game, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, the disclaimer is really funny because that's not what the intention is. The short is because Aether Studios isn't rich enough or backed by anyone rich enough to make their server problems disappear. Hopefully, if the game continues to grow and time goes on, they can develop the game and purchase the necessary resources, server space to make the game more consistently smooth in less dense areas. Another option, if you're willing, is to see if you can surf to Discords and find a local online community that you can jump into a lobby that is nearby. Look for your best servers and see if you can get with people in that area. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just a resource issue. Fortunately for me, I haven't had too many big problems other than the Chicago server every once in a while. But if you want to leave because of that, I think more power to you. What I would ask though, I mean, it's not like you're watching this, but what I would ask is maybe in a month, come back to it and try it again. If that doesn't work, maybe in another month, try it again. I think the more you try it, the more you play it, I think it would grow on you. I cannot fathom how the same developers who designed Crag designed Daedalus. Okay, what do you mean by that? Like, these characters don't even feel like they belong in the same game. One is a super combo heavy, very powerful heavy, while the other is slow with lots of moves that are bad on shield and can only kill early off stage. It just doesn't feel like they're in the same design space. I'm not, again, this is really funny. There's like salt posts disguised as thoughtful posts. Cause it's like saying that they're designed so differently, but characters have different design philosophies. That's like a thing. Like, Zangief is not gonna feel the same as Cammy, who's not gonna feel the same as Akuma. This is just, yeah, I disagree with the premise that this is unfathomable. I think you're just saying that Daedalus is bad, which is a different statement. I think the next patch will see some bigger Daedalus changes. There's no way they leave him like this, which is true. If enough people complain that Daedalus is bad, and if enough top players agree that Daedalus is bad, they're gonna buff him. And hopefully they buff the movement aspect of him and not just straight up kill power, because I think that would be a bit lamer. I enjoyed Daedalus quite a bit on release, but was very aware he was in the lower tier from the get. I learned Crag after Daedalus, and now every time I play the Russian Popo Bear, I just want to go back to Crag. To be frank, Crag is awesome. So is Daedalus, but he ain't shit and essentially is a meme character until buffed. As a casual Daedalus enjoyer, I won't say that he is really bad. I do think he's bottom 1, but in a character of a bunch of good characters, you know, someone's got to be at the bottom. I don't think he is as trash as some people say he is, but I do think he should get some buffs in the future. I don't disagree, but I'll make a bit of a hot take that Daedalus is less of a buff from being oppressive, in certain matchups at least, than people think. His advantage state is already obscene, but if you need to get at least one early long combo kill each game because of neutral and disadvantage. I enjoy Daedalus and Crag pretty equally, but I agree Crag is a lot stronger. I just think the gap narrows for people who are really cracked at Daedalus's punish. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Daedalus should be a character that if you're really good, high APM, you can like wipe the floor off of people. But I think at the moment where Daedalus is, he is just not strong enough to even merit, like, I think the strongest Daedalus still would not beat the strongest any other character. Like, in terms of not even just matchup chart, I think like any player, it would be really hard to beat any other character. Like what this comment is saying, I think they released him underpowered so that they can buff him eventually instead of releasing him overpowered and nerfing him. And they want to make sure that the buffs are slow enough so that if people actually learn how to play him without the buffs, then that is possibly a healthier way to go about it. The new trailer logo represents Olympia and Daedalus. Oh, that's right, they have a crystal and an ice. Will 2 other corners change, or they hint to what's next? I think that's just a fun thing that they're doing, and I don't think there's a hint at all. But let's see what the other people think. Cool detail, but my guess is they'll simply change accordingly when a new rival gets released. Also, are we really getting another fire before filling out the rest of the elements? I don't think so. I think devs said they wanted to add Malo in the 4th character release, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you see the character select screen right now, there are 4 slots for each element, and fire is already filled out. So I don't think we're gonna get another fire until the rest of the cast is filled out. Because not only do they want to balance the number of newcomers and old characters, they want to balance the elements as well. Day 46 of posting snake facts until Eliana gets announced. Holy, it's been 46 days already. All right, what do we got? What do we got? The queen snake, Regina septemvitata, is a slender semi-aquatic snake native to North America. They are small, typically growing to 15-24 inches long, and have a light brown to grayish body, with a pale yellow stripe running along the sides. They are also known as the 7-striped water snake, due to the 7 light strips running down their length. 7 light strips? What the heck are you talking about? What 7 strips? I guess the scales? But there's only 1 strip of yellow. What the freak? I can't wait for her too. Man, Hayakon, you're going strong. You're going strong, appreciate it. Recent locks changes feel surprisingly good. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see what you gotta say. When I read the patch notes, I groaned when seeing the lava pools could get so easily destroyed. But after playing, I have to say every magma charge feels earned. I have to actively go get them, and it's a much more interesting play pattern. Does it make him less good? Absolutely. Does it make you play around the character mechanic? Absolutely. My only wish is that he gets a little bit compensation for reducing his overall power. With the Raster and Claren changes as well, I just admire the devs for making unpopular radical design decisions that make the game better. This is just to say, good job devs, keep up the good work. And for the love of God, stop buffing Zetter. True! Why do you gotta keep buffing Zetter? He's already so good! Then who in the team is like, I think Zetter needs a bit more shield pressure? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? He was third in Genesis. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. I agree with that sentiment. I am dumbfounded that they buffed Zetterburn, but otherwise this is a very good patch. Agreed. I think the changes that they made were really healthy for the game. Not necessarily just straight up buffing or nerfing a character, but making sure that the specific play styles are encouraged or discouraged. Like I showed before, let's go. Genesis X2 Rivals 2 poster. Good thumbs up from Plub, which is mimicking this thumbs up pose. Incredible. They even got the like funny teeth smile. I like the character variety on this poster. It means that at the very least, competitively, this game does something right. Yeah, I mean, 2 Maples, 2 Zetterns, but we also have a Raster, Force, Crag, and Clarin. Unfortunately, no Locks. Unfortunately, no Edelus or Fleet. If Kekasol decided to go back to Fleet, though, that would be hype, but I don't think he's going to. He keeps getting away with it because y'all keep letting him. Fell for it again award. No. Poor Absa. Poor Absa fans. Next trailer should start with an Absa fake out again, but she turns Feral Forces away to the game. You know what? Let's keep going. Fake out Absa every trailer until she's out. Just keep going with the meme. I would love that. I fear it's going to become a meme where Absa is in every trailer but gets added in last. That's what I'm saying. That would be so funny. What if we had an option to bind chat emotes to taunts, similarly to how Smash 4 did it, but without the personalized messages? Oh, right. Like you can do personalized taunts, but instead do an emotes? That's a really cute idea. Again, nothing too fancy, but considering how many chat emotes there are and how much love they have put into them despite how relatively rarely you get to use them compared to death effects and respawn platforms, it would be a nice touch. It would also add a lot more personality to the way you both play and express yourself with them. Yeah, I think this would be a really cute idea. You should definitely post on the note board if anyone already suggested it. Yeah, looks gorgeous. You should put it on the feedback thread. I didn't know they had a feedback thread. Oh, I remember this one. The Rivals Reddit character complaint cycle. Why is it when something happens, it's always you three? It's because these three are by far the easiest and the most oppressive characters in the roster. The ease to oppression ratio is off the charts, and everybody knows it. It's for every level. I see 5 times Clarin post for every Zetter or Rana post. True. But that might be recency bias. I love how Crag, Fleet, and Arcane all escaped the complaints from the launch of the game. There is new blood now. Clarin though, Clarin is eternal it seems. Feels like it's just once we learn the matchup, it's like, oh yeah, these are fine. Maybe I wasn't mishearing Maple all this time. That's a rat. Maybe I'm a pun guy. After all this time, maybe I do like puns. Little known fact, she's actually pointing to Hodan. She's a huge snitch. She's pointing at Hodan. That's a rat. We need to keep pun posting to subreddit. Keep it up, everyone. Agreed. Oh, who knew that puns would be the best kind of content at Reddit? Really disappointed Upbeat doesn't make a pigeon sound. Oh man, that is a missed opportunity. But if this game is anything to go by, they might include it later. I think they just wanted to get the pigeon skin out so that it matched the mid-month release. But I wouldn't be surprised if they include it again. But I wouldn't be surprised if they include it later. I got the skin, love it, but man, it was a missed opportunity to not make Tony's upbeat sound an aggressive coo. So instead of Gah! It'd be a Wait, this is an interesting point because in fact, it does make a pigeon cuckoo sound when you hit it. Might be hard to hear with the music on, but it's there. Oh! I actually spent quite a bit of time searching for pigeon sounds left and right and testing them in game, but even the more aggressive ones ended up making hitting the move feel less satisfying because of how low pitched and almost naturally filtered they are. In the end, we decided that the satisfaction of hitting the move takes precedence over the funny joke, so the cuckoo ended up being only a layer below the existing screech. But yeah, if you look up for pigeon, it's there. Oh, thank you, Fuji Mitsuki, a Rivals 2 tech sound designer. Thanks for the clarification. Awesome to get these insights straight from the source. The Sotse? Very thankful for how open you guys are as developers. Okay, so I guess the pigeon sound is there. It's just underneath the screech. This is so funny. Getting their fair buff despite already being one of the best options. Crag and Zetterburn. Charo, what's going on with the devs buffing the fairs? The devs were clearly too focused on nerfing. Okay, come on. Where to? Why are these 2-year-olds posting on the subreddit? Learn how to spell, please. The devs were clearly too focused on nerfing the broken and problematic characters like Lox instead. I know, as a Lox mate, I'm sad, but I do gotta try it out so that I know for sure. Sports Illustrated. Oh, is this a Sports Illustrated article? Ooh, so Sports Illustrated, I guess, did an article. Thank you, Kale Michael, for making an article about Genesis X2. I'll include this in the description down below. That smug fox. What is this image from? Is it a screen cap or did you make that? Finally broke 900. Let's go! Let's go! Break it to gold, baby! Get out of silver hell! Let's go! This is my favorite platform fighter. Let's go. Hey, so this game's been out for a while. I used to like Rivals of Aether a ton and pretty much thought it was the best platform fighter. It was so fun. Every character was fun to play except for guests. But yeah, that's a skill issue. It's fine. I loved it. But anyway, yeah, when this game was teased, I kind of lost my mind. I didn't like it. Then the more I saw, the more excited I got. Slowly but surely. Once I actually played it though, yes, I loved it. I think because it's so different from Rivals 1, I remember when I first played it, the first beta, I was like, oh wait, I don't like this game. I actually don't like playing it. And it was a shock to me because I loved Rivals of Aether 1 so much. But I think playing it a lot and also with all the changes that they've been making, the patches, it's been getting slowly back into a phenomenal game. I wanted to say what I'm feeling right now, and here it is. I think I just finally found the one when it comes to plat fighters, and it feels good. Yes, sir. This is me in a nutshell. When I was at Genesis, I also signed up for Smash, but I'm gonna be real. I was dejected. I did not have fun playing that game at all. I went 1-2, a very embarrassing showcase. But in Rivals, oh, I was having so much fun. Playing that locally, mwah, chef's kiss, beautiful game. Beautiful game for beautiful people. And if you're a Rivals of Aether 2 fan, show some love, press that like and subscribe. Please, let's get me to 1,000 subs because that sounds like a good number. Why not? Got hooked on Rivals 2 at Genesis. Need content creator recommendations. Well. If you need recommendations for content, you got your boy, Both Players. Let's go! Let's go, Both Players! But in the spirit of Both Players, if you check out this channel, you'll see a bunch of other creators as well. Alright, I think that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching this whole video. It's definitely gonna be a long one because a lot of stuff happened. But I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.